Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. US tariffs unfair and unjust, says Minister Kirti Vardhan Singh, asserts Indian economy's strength and resilience to overcome hard times. PM Modi to visit Japan on August 29 to participate in the 15th Annual Summit, focus on strengthening economic and strategic partnership. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh at Ran Samvad 2025 calls for strengthening India's information and cyber infrastructure, asserts future wars to be combined play of technology, intelligence, economy and diplomacy. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh asserted that India has never initiated aggression against anyone, but if challenged, India would respond strongly. He was addressing the plenary session at two-day sui generis tri-service dialogue on warfare and war fighting called Ran Samvad 2025 in Madhya Pradesh. Ran Samvad aims to enhance interaction, communication and cooperation among military communities on issues critical to war fighting. Emphasizing on the meaning of the event's name, he said Run evokes the sense of battle and conflict, whereas Samvad refers to dialogue and discussion.
India has never been a nation that seeks war. We have never initiated aggression against anyone. However, the present geopolitical reality is quite different. Even though we do not harbor any aggressive intent, if someone challenges us, it becomes imperative that we respond with strength. To do so, we must continuously enhance our defense preparedness. This is why training, technological advancement, and a sustained dialogue with partners are of utmost importance for us.
And Rajnath Singh said that with changing technology, it becomes necessary that India also adapt its forces according to the changing world.
Future wars will not merely be battles of weapons. They will be a combined play of technology, intelligence, economy, and diplomacy. In the times ahead, the nation that masters the triangle of technology, strategy, and adaptability will emerge as the true global power. To put it simply, this is the moment to learn from history and write a new one. That is the moment to anticipate the future and shape one.
Two joint warfare doctrines of our armed forces were released by the Chief of Defence Staff, Army and Navy Chiefs and the Army Vice Chief today. The names of the two doctrines is the Special Forces Doctrine and the Airborne and Heliborne Operations Doctrine. The Special Forces Doctrine provides guidance for the employment of elite forces in high-risk missions requiring precision, stealth and integration with other combat elements. The Airborne and Heliborne Operations Doctrine outlines principles for the rapid deployment, maneuver and employment of forces from the air, enhancing reach, flexibility and response options in various operational scenarios. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who was presented with these documents, described the thumping success of Operation Sindoor as a validation of Indian Armed Forces integration and superiority. He was addressing the day 2 of the Ran Samvad, the maiden tri-service seminar on war and war fighting. Our correspondent Nandita Dagar reports from Mahau, Madhya Pradesh.
Here at the Army War College in Mau, two new joint military doctrines were released on the second day of the Ran Samvad conclave. One on helicopter operations and the other on multi-domain operations. Now, by observing the wars that are raging across the planet, we can say that war fighting is not just limited to land, sea and air, but cyberspace, aerospace and the electromagnetic spectrum are also hotly contested. Now, doctrines are just documents. They need political will and courageous decisive leadership for them to come into action. Prime Minister Modi has been amply demonstrating it, as we saw post Uri, post Pulwama and post Pahalgam terrorist attacks carried out by Pakistan. And of course, in the Doklam and Galwan standoffs with China in 2017 and 2020. In the first week of Operation Sindoor, Prime Minister Modi unambiguously voiced India's new security doctrine against terrorism. No tolerance, no distinction between Pakistani terrorists and the Pakistani state, and of course, no bowing down to its nuclear bluff. Prime Minister Modi has been demonstrating this for the past 11 years, not just in words but also in action. As he said it best and short in his own words, this is the new India and this is the new normal. With camera person Manmohan in Mao, this is Nandita Dagar for DD India.
And Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Japan from 29th to 30th August. India and Japan are close economic and strategic partners. DD India's Shubhendu Ghosh speaks with Indian Ambassador to Japan, C.V. George, on the significance of the Prime Minister's visit.
India's Ambassador to Japan, Ambassador C.B. George. Welcome to DD India, sir. What will be Prime Minister Modi's key engagements during this visit?
Thank you very much. When you look at India-Japan relationship, we have excellent relationship. We have a civilizational connect, we have a cultural connect. You go in this country, any part of the country, you will see that there is an India connect. And based on that solid foundation is that we have built our relationship. So, in this annual summit, what is it special? We have seen significant progress in our relationship in the last 10, 11 years in that relationship. It is special, it is strategic, it is global, and it is a real partnership. We have seen progress. So the leadership will review that progress and, of course, give a new roadmap to take that relationship to further higher levels.
There's a lot of excitement around the bullet train project that is taking shape in India with support from Japan. What can we expect? Will that also be the focus of conversations between the leaders?
See, there are several elements in this relationship. You know, as I mentioned, economic partnership is a very important part of our engagement. And there are other elements which have been building our relationship, infrastructure projects. So many Japanese companies have participated in various infrastructure projects in India. One of such projects is our MAHSR project. And we are making progress in that project. In 2027, we will have a train running on the Ahmedabad-Mumbai project.
Emerging technologies, semiconductor manufacturing and the supply chain is another focus area. Can we expect some progress in that domain as well in this visit?
See, when you look at our relationship, it is a quite comprehensive, very broad relationship, which involves several aspects. One, our traditional business engagement. There are other major elements in our relationship: semiconductors, quantum computing, critical technology, drones, robotics, space. There are so many areas where we are cooperating at every level. Semiconductor is a very important area. India is making so much progress in and investment in that area, and Japan is also doing it.
We understand they're also part of the Quad grouping. Although this is a bilateral visit, in strategic defense and developments, what could be the areas in focus?
We have seen that India and Japan have been working very closely in various plurilateral mechanisms. They both are members of G20. We participate, we actively engage in various plurilateral mechanisms, and one of that is Quad. And Quad is very important because four like-minded countries have come together with a common vision for peace, stability, security, and prosperity in the region, and with concrete ideas. So we are making progress in that. And of course, these are the plurilateral engagement will also continue to be part of our engagement between India and Japan.
That was India's ambassador to Japan talking about Prime Minister's upcoming visit to Tokyo and the manner in which it will provide.
And preparations are on to welcome Prime Minister Modi in Japan. On the day of his arrival, the iconic Sky Tree in Tokyo will be lit in the colours of the Indian tricolour. And there's more. DD India's Shubhendu Ghosh gets us the details.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Japan. Preparations have started here in Tokyo to extend a special welcome to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Right now, I'm in the heart of Tokyo in Sumida district. Next to me is the iconic Sky Tree in Japan at over 600 meters. It is the tallest star in Japan and the world. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Tokyo, in a unique honor, the star will be lit in the colors of the tricolour. It's a unique honor rarely extended to a visiting dignitary or a nation. It will bear testimony to close India-Japan friendship when Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives. And now we are at the top of the observation deck of Sky Tree in Tokyo, about 450 meters high from the ground. From here, you get a bird's eye view of the Tokyo city. You see the skyscrapers, you see the Sumida River, the seaport, and much more. This is also a place where a special yoga session will be organized when Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Tokyo. It was Prime Minister Modi's vision to make yoga a global phenomena with International Day of Yoga. And at this height of 400 meters, yoga is going to be literally at the top of the world. These special experiences are sure to make Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan a memorable one. With camera person Shailendra Chauhan, Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India in Tokyo.
And the Confederation of Indian Industry is holding the 20th India-Africa Business Summit in New Delhi with participants from more than 64 African countries. The summit was inaugurated by Union Minister of State for External Affairs Kirti Vardhan Singh. Speaking to DD India, the minister said that India and Africa share deep historical ties and the trade between both the countries have crossed $100 billion mark.
Africa has always been a trading partner for centuries. Traders from Surat, traders from Gujarat have always been following the trade winds, going to the African continent and vice versa. Our diaspora in Africa is quite large in number and also well settled. They are well integrated into not only the social structure, not only in the political structure, but most importantly in the business environment. We have very important companies which are represented in Africa. We have a very strong trade relations. Our bilateral trade with Africa has crossed the $100 billion mark, and is going to continue to grow even faster, even at a faster pace now on.
And speaking on US tariff on India, the minister called it selective, unfair and unjust, adding that Indian economy is strong and resilient and will sail through this temporary tide.
India has always actively been exploring other markets. It's true that the US has imposed very unjustified and unfair tariffs on us. The reasons, of course, which they say are very questionable. There are many other countries who are also supplementing their energy needs from the same part of the world we are doing, but they have not been imposed with such tariffs. So, of course, it is selective, it is unjustified, and it is unfair. But our economy, under the honorable leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, has grown to be the fourth largest economy in the world today, and we are very soon going to be the third largest. Our economy is strong, our economy is resilient, and will definitely tide over this temporary disturbance that has come about in terms of tariff impositions.
And global trade expert and analyst Ajay Srivastav has called US tariffs as unfair targeting of India on account of India buying oil from Russia. He added Indian economy is growing at 6 to 7% annually. In just few months' time, India can largely contain the impact of US tariffs.
Our exports are just 20% of Indian economy, and Indian market is very big. It absorbs 80% of Indian production, and there is scope for further absorption of this because Indian economy is growing at 6 to 7% annually. So it can happily absorb some of the shocks in these sectors. And second, and great option is searching for other countries to divert some of the exports which we cannot export to the US. And for this, government is making an effort to expedite FTAs with this European Union, and we already signed an agreement with UK. So efforts are on to implement that quickly. A few more FTAs like with Peru and other countries are on the line. So with all these things, we hope that in a few months' time, we can largely contain the adverse impact of US tariffs.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. People welcome Bappa with much fervour and gaiety on Ganesh Chaturthi. Stay with us for the special celebrations from across the country. And on World Lake Day, India spotlights efforts to revive vital water bodies.
This week on Defence Dynamics, we decode India-France jet engine collaboration. We explain how the Agni 5 test reinforces peace through strength and how INS Himgiri showcases India's indigenous naval power. We also analyze Israel's Rampage missile and how it boosts Indian Air Force's precision strike edge, and why Indian Army Chief's visit to Algeria so important. Sharp insights, clear explanations, Defence Dynamics this Wednesday at 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Germany has tightened rules on smartphone use in schools, with several regions introducing or planning bans on private mobile phone usage. And for more on this, let's cut across to Thomas Sparrow, correspondent with DW. Hi, Thomas. Give us an overview of what the new regulations mean.
Education is not something that is decided here in Germany by the federal government right here in Berlin, but it is something that is up to each specific region. And as such, there are different measures that have been put in place to deal with smartphone use in schools. And what's new, what's happened just now as a new school year is beginning, is that several of these regions in Germany have decided to tighten their rules when it comes to what exactly pupils, and specifically the youngest pupils, can do with their smartphones in schools, with several regions actually announcing that smartphone use will be banned during school time. Basically, the argument behind this ban is that on the one hand, it will increase students' capabilities in the classroom, for example, concentration. It could also improve the grades that they receive if they're able to concentrate and work better in the different topics.
All right, Thomas, if you can hear me, I mean, some organizations are very critical of any move towards bans. Why is that? All right, Thomas, there's some connectivity issue. We'll come back to you. Thank you for your time. Moving on this World Lake Day, India is spotlighting its ambitious efforts to revive and protect the country's vital water bodies through the flagships like Mission Amrit Sarovar, Jal Shakti Abhiyan and many more to restore traditional ponds that once sustained agriculture and communities.
Have you ever watched the sun sink into the waters of a lake? A lake is not just a still body of water, it is the heartbeat of our planet. Understanding this significance, the Government of India launched Mission Amrit Sarovar, a pledge to build 75 lakes in every district and revive the traditional ponds that once nurtured our land. Today, more than 68,000 Amrit Sarovars have been completed. Imagine how many villages found water again, how much greenery returned, how many lives were touched by hope. Alongside came the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain, with the motto Water Conservation, People's Participation. Now every drop of rain directly recharges the earth and gives life to our farms. Lakes are also the guardians of our culture and heritage. Take Maharashtra's Lona Lake, a marvel of nature and history. To protect and develop it, the government invested more than 90 crores. The theme of World Lake Day 2025 is Lakes, the lifeblood of our planet. To save a lake is to save our tomorrow. For as long as our lakes live, our civilization will live.
All right, we'll go back to our story. Germany has tightened rules on smartphone use in schools. Thomas Sparrow, DW correspondent, joins us again. Thomas, some organizations are very critical of any move towards bans. Why is that so?
Sorry for the technical problems, but it's a pleasure to be back, and especially to discuss why some organizations have been critical of this, essentially because they do not believe that bans are the right way forward. They believe that it should not be up to schools to tell students that they can't use their mobile phones. Rather, the focus, according to these organizations, should be on helping pupils to use their smartphones responsibly. The key word here is media literacy. So basically what these organizations are asking for is for media literacy to be a priority already in kindergartens, already in very, very young pupils. So that's the reason why they do not necessarily agree that bans are the right way forward.
And also, Thomas, how do other European countries view this topic?
This is a debate that is not only happening here in Germany, it's also happening in other European countries, with countries like France or the Netherlands already announcing bans. And there are also calls for this not only to be a measure dealt by countries individually, but also by the European Union as a whole. And as such, there are calls on the one hand for the European Union to tighten laws that are already in place, and on the other hand, for the European Union to make guidelines much more clearer. The European Commission recently published guidelines on child protection, which is seen as very important, and this highlights that this is not only an issue for specific countries or even regions within countries, like is the case here in Germany, but also an issue for the European Union as a whole.
All right, Thomas, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs on that story. Moving on, the festival of Ganesh Chaturthi is being celebrated from today, marking the birth of Lord Ganesha, the remover of obstacles and the god of wisdom and prosperity. Special celebrations are taking place in Mumbai, with lakhs of devotees thronging at iconic Lal Bagh Raja. For 10 days, it becomes the heart of Mumbai's celebrations, drawing devotees and visitors from across India and abroad. Devotees also thronged at famous Siddhivinayak temple in Mumbai from early morning to offer prayers and perform darshan along with their loved ones on the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. Ganesh Chaturthi, which lasts 10 days, is marked by prayers, aartis and community celebrations culminating in the Visarjan, where idols are immersed in water amid chants and music. This year, Ganesh Visarjan will take place next Saturday, that is September 6th. President and Prime Minister of India extended their greetings to all Indians residing in the country and abroad on Ganesh Chaturthi. The national capital, Delhi's largest and most beautifully curated Ganesh Chaturthi celebration this year has been organized by Dr. Jai Madan. Her residence at Jor Bagh is witnessing a soulful gathering of devotees to welcome Lord Ganesha and seek his blessings. Jaipur's Moti Dungri temple witnessed large number of devotees gathering to offer prayers and perform puja since morning. The prayers began with Mangalarti of Lord Ganesha's idol, The idol was adorned with golden crown and a special traditional necklace offered to the Lord. Following a long-standing tradition, Uttar Pradesh's Sambhal district holds a fair dedicated to Lord Ganesh. The festival is centered around a unique story leading to the construction of Ganesh temple by a native. The temple saw millions of devotees arriving as early as 3:30 a.m. to seek blessings of the Lord. A grand procession with various tableaux will also take place later in the day. And Coimbator's Munthi Vinegar temple also witnessed a huge influx of devotees on the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. Described as one of the largest temples of the city, devotees expressed happiness to be able to get a darshan of remover of obstacles on this pious day. And known for its unique and elaborate decorations, Bengaluru Sri Satya Ganpati Shirdi Sai Temple started the festival activities from an early morning Abhishek ceremony following by a Maha Mangalarti. The temple management ensured continuous prasad distribution and comfortable facilities for devotees visiting the temple to offer their obeisance to the god. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.